Hello, every and welcome back to Fandom Fridays, where we proceed to check out all the fanfics that are not pony related. Why? Because a certain movie is out today. What? Is it obvious that I'm a huge Spider-Man fan? I mean, you are talking to the guy who will defend Amazing Spider-Man 2. You give you reasons why he loves Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then proceeds to discuss the reasons why Spider-Man 3 isn't all that bad. I love the Spider-Man franchise. Through its ups and downs, stupid mistakes, and the story that shall not be named, otherwise I will end up smashing my laptop, because heavens knows nobody wants to think about it because that's so out of character for them. Hey, you can hate a storyline but still love a character. As far as I'm concerned, that story never happened, and I can write Spider-Man stories without thinking about it. And of course, reading all the Spider-Man graphic novels I can. And with the advent of the new movie, I couldn't wait to see Holland after seeing Civil War, where I think Tom Holland has actually gotten the best of both worlds. He actually does a great Spider-Man and has done a great Peter Parker. He has all Pierce's goofiness and charm as Tobey Maguire did, while keeping all Spider-Man's quips, silly moments, and riffs. And actually fusing these two together. But you're probably not here to listen to me espouse why Spider-Man is awesome. Although here's a list. You're probably not here to listen to me tell you my favorite Spider-Man stories. Kraven's Last Hunt, Death of the Stacys, some of the Venom stuff, Maximum Carnage. Which I'll never understand why everybody wanted like Kara to riff it. Do they think it's overly gory, overly dark? Or maybe it's just because it's a 90s story. No, you're here for me to read some fanfics. And brother, does Spider-Man surprisingly have a lot of crossovers on fanfiction.net? At least 2,000 of them. Come on, kids. Let's see what we can find. Let's see. No. A Jake Long fanfic where he proceeds to have a rumble with Jake? Well, that's the Spider-Man and Jake Long crossover. I mean, wouldn't it be cooler for Spidey to just help Jake take down the Hunts clan? No. There we go. A Doctor Who story. Let's hit it. As we here at the Terryberry Memorial Library proud to present Spires, Time Lords, and Timey-wimey mischief. Enjoy. Spires, Time Lords, and Timey-wimey mischief by Elisa Rose Fantasy. Now you see, that's a screen name. Why can't more authors do that? What the familiar sound of TARDIS engines as Amy Pond leaned against the console. Watching as the centerpiece moved up and down, perfectly in time with the sound of the ancient alien engines as they flew through time and space. The TARDIS, standing for time in relative dimensions in space, is a time machine owned by her old friend the Doctor, who just happens to be an alien from outer space, a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey, but better known to Amy as a madman with a box. And a very awesome box at that. Her Raggedy Man. You see, Amy has known the Doctor since he was a little girl, ever since he come crash-landing in her backyard with his little blue box to rescue her. When he suddenly disappeared, she had waited for him to return, and many years later, he did.
Amy, have you seen my old suit?
came the lovable voice of her husband, Rory, as he came from the console room. Rory's had been having nightmares lately. He's been dreaming that he's been driving on a bus of a ship with a bunch of crazed lunatics who have no business time traveling, but they do. If you thought I was going to get through this without doing one Legends of Tomorrow reference, I gotta do that one day. No, Lily, I have not seen those two. How do you know those two in here? Came Amy's reply.
They're my brand new ones. I caught them at 2:25 when we went on a shopping trip that you dragged me into. You've seen this place, it's huge. I could lose myself for weeks in these corridors.
Rory rambled on, while nervously walking around slightly awkwardly with one shoe on. Amy sighed at her husband in her typically annoying manner. Oh, come on, I'll see you can find it. Did you look under my pile of clothes on the floor? He suggested.
No, I did not look under the waste pile of clothes,
Rory mumbled to himself as he turned to walk back to her room. Under the bunk beds, back in the bigger on the inside wardrobe. Amy yelled after him.
Yeah, I get it.
He yelled back.
I don't find it. Don't expect me to walk around on some planet somewhere with only one shoe.
He said as he disappeared around the corner. Amy rolled her eyes, before focusing her attention on the figure that had been messing around clumsily with the other side of the console. Send a letter decoding. She asked the doctor, skipping lightly around the console to get a better look at what he was doing. He was madly fiddling around with all the different levers, switches, and dials. Some of the lights on the console were flashing, and the TARDIS made an odd noise that sounded suspiciously like she wasn't too happy about something. New York, he said cheerfully, while messing around with something that looked oddly like an old toaster. Okay. What's in New York? She asked, while staring at the toaster. No, I don't know, he said unsurely, pulling his hair from his face. Time's gone wobbly. He continued, while tapping the flat screen that was cracking a little with static. He then pulled a confused, questioning face, before suddenly tucking down beneath the console and pulling bits open. Wires quickly fell out of everywhere. The TARDIS shuddered slightly as he began to look. What do you mean, wobbly? Time's always wobbly with you, she said as a matter of fact, leaning sideways against the console, crossing her arms as she watched him more feverishly.
Like, I don't know,
Wobbly. Something's gone wrong with the space-time continuum. We could literally turn up anywhere on time, any place. This happens to be the case in New York at a time I'm not familiar with, and all this is going crazy, he said, practically hidden amongst all the tangled wires. He paused and slowly came out, standing back up with a look of realization on his face, almost as if a light bulb turned on just above his head. But at the same time, it's like she's bringing us here on purpose, he continued. What are you doing, old girl? Hey, he said, turning to the console and struck it, deeply in thought. Amy gave him a weird look before the TARDIS shook again.
Doctor, what's going on?
Asked Rory as he came into the console room, having now found his elusive boots.
The TARDIS just keeps on shuddering, and I swear something's going wrong with the corridors,
he said, pointing to where he had just been. He says time's gone wobbly, informed Amy, leaning against his direction slightly.
Oh, right. Well, that makes a lot of sense,
he said, coming in next to them and putting his arm around Amy, only practically jumped out of his skin as a shrill alarm blared through the speakers. Oh, that's not good, said the doctor, looking up at the ceiling. There was a strange noise before all the lights went out.
That's really not good,
the doctor continued through the darkness as the TARDIS groaned loudly, but the whole place began to shake like a giant earthquake.
Get down!
The doctor's voice could be heard yelling out, along with the sounds of their panicked screams echoing throughout the room. The sun shone bright and golden from the vast deep blue sky, reflecting perfectly in the glossy glass window of a large skyscraper, a breathtaking view of the metal skyline of New York City. The high tips of the buildings sparkled as the metal caught the early morning light, and the Empire State Building in all its glory could be seen dwarfing the ocean of skyscrapers at the heart of the city. A cluster of pigeons suddenly flew off cooing and flapping their wings as a simmering white strand came out of nowhere and attached itself above the building. The image then disappeared as a dark shamble resembling a man passed by, momentarily blocking out the sun. Spider-Man was not having a good morning. He had a terribly hectic week of studying for the countless amount of tests and exams he had to complete for his senior year. Then he completely forgotten to help Aunt May paint the house, meaning, to his worry, as he did it all by herself. And to make matters worse, right being ready to cast her the weekend, there had been another ever-ending number of small crimes, muggings, and thefts all that last night. So he had little to no sleep and was completely and utterly exhausted. He was just glad it was Saturday, meaning he had nothing better to do than swing around clad in his fancy-dancy red and blue spandex Spidey suit and mope about everything that was wrong with life. Yeah, mope. That sounded like a good plan. Seriously, though, sometimes he wondered if someone was out to get him. His life was just that messed up. I mean, come on. Is swinging high above people's heads on nothing but twin strands of webbing, dressed up like a spider normal? Yeah, didn't think so. To the view of your average spectator's eye, he was a spectacular sight to behold, as he swung through the city, weaving with perfect accuracy around buildings, through alleyways, and over and under skates with flawless grace, leaping and flipping through the sight of thumb of his hands and feet, and the flip of his web swords being the only sounds he made as he whooshed past. With a large swinging arc, he whizzed around a corner and straight over the busy streets of New York. Instantly, the sights and sounds and smells of the overly active city greeted his enhanced senses. Cars were moving to and fro like a wave beneath him, and yellow taxicabs honked their horns in frustration. The chatter of many people could be heard as they went about their daily routines, either rushing to work, having a chat with a friend at one of the local coffee shops, or touring the place as tourists. He could smell the delicious food being cooked on the many different restaurants that lined the streets as it waved it out to greet him in the air. He couldn't help but bring a small smile to his masked face. Despite its unpleasantness, this was home, and the people down there on the streets were the ones he swore to protect, day and night, from the evils of this world as best as he could. Despite how bad his life had gotten, he would never give up on that. At the height of his swing, he let go of his web line, performed a perfect triple spin and posed in midair, before diving headfirst towards the ground with his arms by his side. He shot off a new web line before he got too close to the ground and slung in really low through the traffic. In response, many bystanders noticed him, and he received many gasps of surprise and awe. And, since this was New York, also thrown tomatoes. To the people of this city, Spider-Man was quite an icon, a marveled mystery often discussed by many people of all walks in life. Some appreciated him and some hated him. But unfortunately, he always felt the weight of the latter. So the downfalls of being Spider-Man and living the life he led. Not everyone will trust you. That always weighed heavily on Spidey's mind. He felt the breeze rush past him as he ascended up towards the sky once again, performing a wonderful series of acrobatic backflips. The sun lit up his brightly colored outfit, making it stand out to the people below, and his big, white, friendly bug eyes reflected as he swung through the streets of inhuman ability, continuing his acrobatic show all along the way. Now normally, he would whooping and yelling with joy, but not today. Today he had one special destination in mind. He began to slow down as he neared his goal, turning off the main roads and swinging down the smaller streets. Flipping slowly in the air, he shot a web to the top of a building, a somersault onto a large brown gargoyle, where he perched on the back of its couch, with both his arms and legs beneath him. Much right for you, sir. Yes, Trixie? Were you swinging as you read that dialogue? No, I wasn't doing web swings. Alright, Trixie just wanted to be sure. Because that would be totally geeky if you were to start imitating Spider-Man while you're reading a fic and doing web swings and doing Spider-Man poses. I promise you, Trixie, I was not web swinging, I was not throwing my web lines, and I was not doing any Spider-Man things. Good. It was all Ruby. It was not. Hiya, Bruce. Did you miss me? He asked, giving the silent gargoyle a pat on its ugly dog-like head. And it gazed up over the streets for his position, perched high up on the ledge. He ought to come here, dust him all over his thoughts. Found it a good place to sit and think. Bruce the Gargoyle poses a perfect fit for him to tell his problems to. When he does have conversation, his inability to reply was surprisingly therapeutic. He solved a lot of his problems here just talking to it. Spike let out a great sigh, looked back down at the gargoyle. So, what should I do, Bruce? He asked. Bruce was just silent, as usual. Spike mumbled to himself, then lowered his head. Everything's all just too much. I can't deal with it all at once, he complained. I'm running around like a chunk with his head chopped off, or more like a spider with his head chopped off. I just don't know how I'm supposed to balance all my responsibilities. And I'm so worried about Aunt May, he said miserably. After that, he sat down for a few minutes silently. Come on, can you at least please give me some sort of assistance? I'm drowning down here. He suddenly yelled up at the sky, startling a few more pigeons. That was when Tony Stark landed. You needed assistance? No, not that type of assistance, Tony. Just as spider sense went off. It was just a light buzz in the back of his head at first, along with a strange wheezing sound, sounding like a trumpet herding elephants behind him. Oh, what now? He moaned, before it suddenly started to increase in magnitude. He yelled at the top of his lungs in a high-pitched scream, as the spider sense exploded his head and filled off his gargoyle, hanging out upside down by a single thread of web, while swaying from side to side dramatically. He had his legs both clasped to the web above him, while his hands gripped a thin line. His bouncy swaying began to slow down before coming to a stop. The spider sense started pounding in his skull. As soon as he came to his senses, he looked up his body and web line to the gargoyle sitting on the edge of the building. He was quite surprised to find a big, blue police box sitting right behind his gargoyle on the edge of the building, which he swore was not there a minute ago. After a few minutes of debating and no activity from the box, he decided to slowly creep up the web and take a look. Okay, this sounds like a really interesting story. The base is well set up, the spelling's well done, and of course everybody's in character. I really wonder how the rest of this goes. Well, I suppose the only thing you guys can do is check out and find out yourself. Thank you all for reading. That's one down, thousands more to go. I'll see you next time.